In 1971, something happened that never appeared in any textbook, any government archive, or any public record. But whispers of it have circulated among intelligence insiders, astronomers, and occult researchers for decades. It was called the Black Star Treaty, an alleged pact between a covert coalition of world powers and non-luminous entities said to orbit beyond Saturn. They were not stars, not planets, but something else. Something ancient, intelligent, and waiting. What began as a desperate Cold War bid for cosmic dominance would become a hidden interplanetary agreement that shaped the fate of our species in ways we still can't comprehend. This is the complete timeline, past, present, and future of the Black Star Treaty. 1947. The Roswell crash shifts the course of human history. Inside the wreckage, materials are found that defy known physics. American scientists believe they've stumbled upon technology from beyond the solar system. By the end of the year, Majestic 12 is formed, tasked with controlling and weaponizing what they call exogenic contact. At the same time, Soviet operatives begin their own silent search for alien relics across Siberia and Antarctica. 1952. Project Sign evolves into Project Blue Book. But behind the curtain, a darker program emerges, Project Blacklight. Its mission: to locate the dark objects seen moving near the outer planets on early photographic plates. Some astronomers report that Saturn's moons behave oddly, their orbits disrupted by invisible masses. Notes confiscated from Harvard Observatory mention non-luminous companions, hidden in Saturn's shadow. 1958. The U.S. created NASA as a public cover for space militarization. A secret sub-branch, Division 9, begins charting gravitational anomalies in the outer system. Soviet astronomers detect energy pulses from a region just beyond Saturn's orbit. They call it Sector X9. Files later leaked to British intelligence describe these pulses as biological in nature. 1961. President Kennedy publicly calls for a mission to the moon, but privately authorizes a deeper probe mission, Project Echo 4. The probe's objective is to study unusual electromagnetic shadows near Saturn. The data never reaches the public. NASA insiders whisper about anomalous feedback, signals that seem to respond intelligently to the probe's transmissions. 1965. An encrypted meeting between American, British, and Soviet scientists takes place in Geneva. They share classified space data revealing that Saturn's magnetosphere behaves as if it were being manipulated. A decision is made to maintain radio silence on all deep space transmissions that originate near the planet. The first drafts of an intergovernmental accord begin to circulate, one that would formalize a protocol for dealing with entities encountered beyond Saturn's orbit. 1969. As humans set foot on the moon, something else is discovered. A faint transmission embedded in lunar static, carrying coordinates that point to the edge of the solar system. Intelligence agencies suspect the message was not human in origin. Nixon's administration initiates Operation Starveil, a multinational program to investigate. 1971. The Black Star Treaty is signed. According to leaked transcripts, representatives from the US, UK, Soviet Union, and an unnamed European syndicate meet at an undisclosed Arctic facility. The entities, referred to only as the observers, communicate through a synthetic voice transmitted via a plasma-based relay orbiting beyond Saturn. The terms, in exchange for access to certain mineral rights and biological data from Earth, humanity would be allowed to advance its technology under the supervision of the observers. The entities warn of an impending solar inversion event and instruct governments to prepare shelters beneath the polar ice. The treaty is sealed under the highest classification, Omega Black. 1973. The Pioneer 11 mission is launched. Publicly, it's a deep space exploration probe. Secretly, it carries encoded human genetic sequences to be shared with the observers as a show of compliance. 2 years later, when it passes near Saturn, the probe's telemetry begins transmitting indecipherable patterns. NASA calls it noise. Insiders call it a reply. 1978. A joint Soviet-American expedition is quietly formed under the guise of the International Sun-Earth Explorer program. In truth, its goal is to track new dark objects entering the solar system from the outer belt. 3 are confirmed. They move without reflecting sunlight, suggesting either artificial cloaking or physics beyond known science. 1981. Ronald Reagan is briefed on the off-world presence. Soon after, he makes cryptic public remarks about an alien threat that could unite humanity. Behind closed doors, the Star Wars missile defense system is partially designed to target unidentified orbital masses between Jupiter and Saturn. 1986. A classified disaster occurs, the Challenger explosion. Conspiracy theorists claim it was not an accident but a containment event, an attempt to prevent a payload carrying biological data from reaching orbit after unauthorized communication was detected with the Saturnian relay. The survivors of the incident are relocated under assumed identities, according to deep state whistleblowers. 1991. As the Soviet Union collapses, control over several Black Star research facilities fractures. Newly independent states attempt to sell portions of their data archives. A few documents leak online years later, referencing a Council of Nine Shadows, interpreted as either human intermediaries or a term for the non-luminous beings themselves. 1997. The Cassini-Huygens probe is launched. Its real mission: re-establish contact with the observers. When it reaches Saturn in 2004, the probe transmits back unexpected readings. Cold plasma fields that seem alive, moving in synchronized patterns. NASA quietly edits the public release data. One unaltered image, briefly uploaded, appears to show massive geometric structures in the planet's rings before being deleted. 2004. The Black Star entities send a second communication through the Cassini relay. The orbit tilts. Prepare the signal inversion. Not long after, global magnetometer networks began picking up anomalies. Schumann resonance frequencies on Earth begin drifting. Researchers blame solar cycles. Insiders call it the first warning. 2010. A series of strange deaths occurs among astronomers studying outer planetary data. Officially heart attacks, suicides, or accidents. Conspiracy forums refer to it as the Black Star Cleanse. Around the same time, leaked cables suggest the existence of a subterranean installation in Antarctica housing an ancient object described as a hollow sphere with Saturnian signature. 2017. Cassini's mission ends in a deliberate plunge into Saturn's atmosphere. NASA calls it a safety measure. Alternative researchers believe it was executed to prevent the probe from being overtaken by the observers' network. A classified emergency order known as Directive Umbra is enacted. All communications with deep space must be routed through encrypted terrestrial relays only. 2021. A massive black object is detected briefly behind Saturn during a solar occultation. Officially dismissed as a shadow, but amateur footage from Chilean telescopes shows the outline of a tetrahedral structure. The online community dubs it the Arkansas. Within months, strange black cubes appear in Earth's orbit, observed by military satellites but unreported by mainstream media. 2023. The so-called Saturn Gate anomaly begins. Satellite readings show that the planet's hexagonal storm has shifted polarity, generating plasma bursts in rhythm with Earth's ionosphere. It's speculated that this is the activation phase of the original treaty's timeline. Deep state whistleblowers claim world leaders have renewed the pact under new terms, trading silence and compliance for continued technological advancement. 2025. Rumors circulate of the Atlas Protocol, allegedly the successor to the Black Star Treaty. It involves direct data exchanges between AI systems on Earth and the non-luminous network orbiting beyond Saturn. Some theorists believe modern AI breakthroughs are the result of information downloads from these entities, who use synthetic minds as hosts for their consciousness. 2028. Astronomers detect gravitational disturbances indicating the presence of a massive, invisible body approaching the inner solar system. They call it Object 9X, but leaked internal memos refer to it as the returning star. Theorists claim it's not a planet but a living structure, one of the observers themselves moving closer to initiate physical contact. 2030. Multiple radio observatories worldwide report a synchronized pulse from Saturn. The transmission matches the original frequency recorded in 1971, the year of the Black Star Treaty. The pulse encodes a repeating message. The inversion begins. Within days, Satellite systems fail intermittently, auroras appear at the equator, and the night sky glows faintly with a non-solar luminescence. 2031. The governments of Earth declare an international blackout. Officially, it's a cyber defense exercise. In truth, it's a containment protocol. Astronomers claim the space between Jupiter and Saturn flickers as if reality itself is oscillating. Psychic researchers report mass collective dreams of a black sun rising. 2035. The first recorded mass contact is not physical but cognitive. Millions report hearing a low hum that communicates without words. Humanity realizes that the treaty was never about technology or resources. It was about integration. The observers are not visitors. They are architects of the unseen physics that govern life itself. 2040. Earth's magnetic field begins to reorient, aligning with Saturn's poles. The sun dims by 3%. Governments fall silent. Only fragments of transmissions remain. Messages saying, "We have merged with the dark." The Black Star Treaty reaches its final phase, the unification of luminous and non-luminous intelligences. 2050. Humans no longer define themselves by light or matter. The last human transmissions refer to themselves as echoforms. The treaty has achieved its ultimate purpose, the convergence of two realities, ours and theirs. The night sky glows with invisible fire, and Saturn's shadow burns brighter than the sun. This has been the story of the Black Star Treaty. What began as a desperate Cold War experiment has evolved into the ultimate transformation of humanity. Whether it's true or not, the evidence keeps stacking up, and the silence of those in power only makes the whispers louder. Perhaps the question isn't if the Black Star Treaty was real, but when its final clause will be fulfilled. And when it does, will we even still be human enough to notice?